Alright, well today what we're going to talk about is Chapter 1-6, multiplying and dividing real numbers. Okay, so the other day we were looking at adding and subtracting. We're going to move on to multiplying and dividing. Okay, the objective today is to find products and quotients of real numbers. Okay, and again, still on the same standard Ch.1-6. Okay, so we're in key concept number 2 now, which is dividing real numbers. Okay, when we divide real numbers, what we're talking about is pretty much the same process as the product. The only difference is we're dividing. Okay, so it's really nothing different. So when you divide two real numbers, you will follow the same principles with the signs as multiplication. Same signs, you're going to have a positive quotient. Different signs, a negative quotient. Okay, so for example, negative 20 divided by 5. Different signs, we get a negative 4. Okay, or 20 divided by a negative 5. You get a negative 4, different signs. Okay. The second example, positive 20 divided by positive 5 equals a positive 4. So same signs down there, you get the same sign, or you get a positive sign answer. Okay. Negative 20 divided by negative 5, you have same signs, both negative, so you get a positive 4. Okay. The other key concept that we have here is division involving 0. Okay, dividing by 0 makes a fraction undefined. So anytime you have divided by 0, it's undefined. Okay, if I'm going to split $8 amongst 8 different people, okay, or excuse me, if I have $8, I'm going to divide amongst 0 people, that's what I meant. Okay, how much is each person going to get? Well, there's nobody to split it between, so how can we split $8? Well, you can't. Okay, it's undefined in that way. When you divide 0 by any other non-zero number, the fraction will be 0. Okay, so when you think about this, if I have $0, I'm going to split that amongst 8 people. How much is each person going to get? They're going to get nothing. Everybody's going to get 0. There's no money to split. Okay, so 0 on the bottom, undefined. 0 on top is 0. Okay, so the biggest thing you need to know out of this, the one you need to know, is that 8 divided by 0 is undefined. You cannot do that. And your calculators will give you an error on that. Okay, so a property we're going to look at is the inverse property of multiplication. For every non-zero real number, there is a multiplicative inverse. Okay, this is very similar to an additive inverse. Okay, you have a multiplicative inverse such that when you multiply them together, you get 1. Okay, so you would get 1. So what that means, okay, is when I take A and I multiply it by 1 over A, that gives me A over A. And when I have a quantity over the same amount, that is equivalent to 1. Okay, so anytime. So like if I said negative 4 times a negative 1/4. Okay, well, negative means that's going to be positive. 4 over 4, when I multiply those together, I get a positive 1. Okay, this is also known as the reciprocal. Okay, so negative 4 times negative 1/4. That negative 1/4 is the reciprocal of negative 4. Negative 1/4 is the reciprocal of negative 4. Okay, so problem number 4 here. The last problem we're going to look at today. What is the value of xy when x equals negative 3/4 and y equals negative 2/3? So this is, you're going to have to remember how to divide by fractions. When we have x over y. Okay, well, the first thing we want to do is we want to replace what x would be. Well, they said x is 3/4, negative 3/4. Okay, so we write that in there, negative 3/4. Then we divide by, so we have this division bar, by y. Well, y up here was a negative 2/3. So we put a negative 2/3. Well, the thing we have here now that we have that, we have this negative 3/4 divided by a negative 2/3. Well, we can't divide fractions, okay, like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the top by the bottom's reciprocal. Okay, so we're going to multiply the top by the bottom's reciprocal. which means that it becomes negative 3/4 stays the same, but we changed the division to multiplication, and we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3/2. All it is replacing those two numbers, flipping those two numbers. That's a reciprocal. Okay. So there we go. Now we multiply straight across. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 2 is 8. And 2 negatives again makes a positive. So it's 9/8. That's the simplified form. Okay. So fractions over fractions, you multiply the bottom's reciprocal. That's important to know. You'll see that a lot coming in this remainder of this course. Okay. Well, for further information, go to my webpage, talk on a discussion board, be interactive with your classmates. Okay, we should be getting familiar with that by now. And then get on Twitter, and if you have any questions there, send me some questions on what you want to do. Okay, well, have a good night.